get another Team Lotus Box member into day number 3 of competition. Already got Edgar and Zan there. 3 wouldn't be bad. 3 would not be bad.
Not a bad weekend.
And then Oliver Samaiko would have to be the one to play spoiler to stop Team Lotus Box as we are underway. I guess these guys just were given the green light. They said, hey, we're not waiting. Let's go. Emery on turn 1 after playing 2 explosives for 0. Once upon a time is where Dylan Donegan is going to start things off. He'll take a look at the top handful of cards. I like it. They couldn't wait to get started, so they just said, we're not going to wait for you guys. We're just going to do our thing.
After Zan and Zach played last round, I appreciate
Marathon affair.
Appreciate trying to play a little bit faster here.
Well, we're going to get back. And Arcos Astrolabe with the Emery. Collin Rountree does play with a pretty good pace.
Mm-hmm.
He's pretty confident in his decisions when he makes them.
Dylan as well.
This is true. Zan a little bit more methodical, but that thoughtfulness certainly did pay off that last round.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you that much. Looks like we got another Emery here. It's going to mill a handful of cards. There's a Mox. That's a Forest. This is a Gilded Goose. Make an artifact. Pass a turn back. So it's a battlefield that is full of stuff on the second turn, but hey, as much stuff as that is, you better be able to beat a Devoted Druid there, bud.
Yeah, well, I mean, if Collin Rountree can get out of this turn from Dylan without too much trouble, you can start getting to a spot where it's cumbersome because you have the other explosive and you have a Mox Opal, but you can try to start sacking the explosives and loop them back that way. Mm-hmm. Remains to be seen if Rountree has that kind of time. But those explosives aren't necessarily dead. It just takes a little while to get them redeployed on a number that matters.
Sure. Well, let's see what we got here. That is an Oko. We know how good that one is. That's for sure. Gonna make a food token there. And we're gonna head back over to Collin Rountree. Rountree's first handful of turns appeared to be rather explosive, but what did he really get done is the question.
Yeah, and that's a common issue with the Urza deck, is there's a lot of what appear to be explosive openings that don't really lead themselves anywhere. And Rountree doesn't even have a bobble at this point to be looping. Never mind. Now this is something to do.
Okay. Urza, spin it to win it. I would agree with you. This is something to do. So we'll take a little look-ski-poo. Mox. Looks like he'll cast it. Other one will go away. Emery is going to get in for 1. Take that, Oko, you big jerk.
Mm-hmm.
That Oko is almost dead, so there's that.
So vulnerable right now.
He's serving it up.
Yeah.
Back to Donegan we shall go. Turn 1 Noble, turn 2 Oko, turn 3 remains to be seen. Looks like
Rountree already getting the Urza ready to be swapped.
He's already offered it up. He said, go ahead, I know you're going to take it. See what the follow-up's going to be. Another, oh boy, that's good. Another Oko.
Mm-hmm. Why is that good?
Well,
let you tag in for a little color commentary.
Well, that's what you get paid for. It's not why I'm here. All right. The construct is an elk. Urza is a 4 toughness creature. So.
And now a big problem for Rountree here is if he had any sort of aspirations of getting to a spot where he could loop the engineered explosives back via Emery and set them to a number that's relevant, he's basically got a 1-turn window to even start doing that because he's at risk next turn of the Oko turning Emery into an elk, and then at that point the explosives are trapped until he finds another copy of Emery.
Yeah, it looks like it's just going to be hard to actually get that set up, unfortunately, for him.
And, this is the This is one of the vulnerabilities of this Urza deck, is just these hands that play to 1, maybe 2 cards, and then a whole lot of setup. And it's not clear that Rountree can really work around this Oko, given that his payouts here were just some creatures.
This was the hand. This was the kind of thing. Pardon me, that you were scared of.
Yeah.
Is if the hand had kind of looked like this, it was going to be hard to win.
Yeah, I wonder if these Urza lists are supposed to go back to exploring Thopter Sword, or just some way to have a workaround to this sort of setup. I know Oko has some play against that as well, but it's a little bit easier to set that all up on your own turn rather than trying to get it done with these creatures that just get turned into elks.
Well, Rountree found his own elk maker there and his own copy of Oko to shut down Giver of Runes. But you have to imagine part of the reason that Donegan and Team Lotus Box selected this deck is because they felt they had a good Urza matchup. You have to remember they were the team that really innovated Simic Urza themselves, or Simic Urza to begin, changing it to Simic Urza by removing the Whir of Invention. So I think they expect a lot of people to bring Urza to the table, and I think they expected people thought they would bring Urza to the table, maybe trying to juke the players in the Players' Championship.
Yep. Very common to have that, try to be on level 2 when they're on level 1, level 3 when they're on level 2, sort of metagaming for a tournament like this. And these players have a very long list of tournaments to pull from, and exploring deck preferences and metagame decisions these competitors have made in the past.
So Dylan's got a lot to think about. Remember, this match, it's our final one of the day. Winner is into day number 3 of competition. Loser is all done on the weekend. Mox Opal going to head back to Collin Rountree's artifact pile there. Oko, the elevator always goes up. And it looks like it's going to be turning something into an elk. Donegan's just got to decide what. So Noble Hierarch. Looks like it wants to give some beatdowns. And the plan here is to go after Oko. Looks like a quick little trade there. Giver of Runes, Elk. We'll trade with an Elk token, and Oko is going to fall down to 2. There's a Devoted Druid. Here's a Bird's Paradise. That is a Temple Garden. I think Dylan's empty-handed now. So we're going to head back over to Collin Rountree. Rountree's going to draw a card. Funny thing, too, now is that I was going to say, if Donegan draws Vizier, he does flat win the game.
Because you go off with Urza.
Mm-hmm.
And I was going to say, another thing to keep in mind is we've spoken a lot about the Devoted Devastation deck's inability to really function at instant speed. It requires them to deploy a Devoted Druid and get a turn and then be able to go off. It's possible, unlikely, but possible, that Donegan can cobble together something at instant speed if he gets lucky with Urza. And that could be a workaround against the Oko.
So what did Rountree draw that's giving him this much pause? A sack of food here. To the Gilded Goose. Okay. Why do I think he's going to blow up in explosives?
Try to do a little loop here.
I mean, I feel like his hand is almost forced to blow up in explosives that he doesn't want to blow up because he loses things, but he can get them all back with Emery over time.
Yeah, the problem is that you can't really cobble together these chains over the course of several turns, because if you start to go down that path but don't go all the way through in one turn, Donegan can just go, all right, your Emery's an elk, and now you're
not doing anything.
So there's a lot of pressure. If Rountree wants to explore something like that, he has to kind of do it all in one shot, because the Oko on Donegan's side is going to prevent him from being able to do it over the course of several turns.
The other problem, too, is that if you get back your explosives and just say, like, set it and pass, Okay, I'll turn that into an elk.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Oko on the other side of the battlefield is causing all sorts of problems right now. So now you're just going to see an engineer explosives turned into an elk and just pass the turn back. What a mess this game has become of Okos, and who knows how to use it the best in these situations. Both these players clearly have a lot of experience with the card, but I'll tell you, it is an absolute mess here.
And complicating matters further is the presence of Cryptic Command in Rountree's deck. If Donegan tries to take an aggressive angle here in hopes of either getting rid of Rountree's Oko or at least forcing some bad blocks, he is liable to getting blown out by Cryptic Command too, which is just one more thing to consider in the various options that Donegan has afforded to him before he moves into combat.
Yep. That's a very good point. All right, so we're going to add a mana, swapsies. Interesting little play there by Donegan with the Oko. Perhaps his goal is to try to kill Oko this turn. And the entire game revolves around the super powerful Planeswalker. Goodness, what's this? Come on. Third Oko. Up to 5. Turn. Okay, so it's not about that this game. It's not about Devoted Druid anymore. It's about I want to kill your Oko. It's what it's got to be about.
And so this requires 2 chump blocks to keep Oko around for a turn?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that might be too high of a price for Rountree.
It's very clear that that's what Donegan is elected to make this game about. So it goes down. But where do we go now? If you're Rountree, you're going to... Okay, sack a food to gain some life. And then he's going to sack this food. Blow up EE. Lose his Mox. Okay. And that food token's going to die. Okay, so now that EE goes to the graveyard. That was an elk. Okay, so now we're going to go back this way. Ah, what a mess this game has become. A turn 1 Emry really didn't have much fun, but it's still on the battlefield. It's going to target engineered explosives. EE is going to get deployed. It's going to be for 2. Looks like it actually is going to be for 3.
Battlefield is getting cleaned up a little bit here.
Oh, there's a Mox. There are 3 artifacts on the battlefield. So, blow the Mox. Kill an Oko. Alright. But also killed an Emry to do it. Last card in Collin's hand is actually another copy of Emry. So, here come the beatdowns. Has Rountree worked his way through all of this nonsense? There's Emry. Trigger. Mill 4 cards. Okay.
And now he might have the cushion here where he can start using Emry to get back the engineer explosives and starting to address Donegan's battlefield a little bit.
Yeah, when Donegan decided to make his Devoted Druid into an elk, he made it so that this game was less about the infinite mana combo and more about trying to kill the opponent. Well.
Okay, never mind.
Well,
now Rountree's just up against it again with nothing meaningful in play. And Donegan gets to a spot now where he can start activating Urza as well.
4th Oko, huh? Not bad.
You know?
Not bad.
That's why you play 4.
That is why you play 4.
Among other considerations.
Yes. I'm sure most people would play more. You draw another EE.
Okay.
These two are going at it.
Big draw. But,
yeah.
you know, Rountree's still behind here.
Yep.
And Donegan now can start trying to cobble together some extra cards.
All right, activate Urza. These two are going at it. See what this is. The goose.
Mm-hmm.
Seems like more of a miss than a hit. Beatdowns. Well, block, yeah. Get your 6 in. Rountree's down to 4. There is a food token on the battlefield. Not sure what his best draw is. I think Urza would be a pretty good one, honestly. So, let's see. This is an Astrolabe. Draw a card. That is a Bauble. Take a look. Okay. Pass the turn back. We're going to go back over to Dylan. Why do I think Collin missed his trigger on his Bauble?
No, he picked up. He
Okay.
He picked up a card.
Because he would. He's not the type to miss. Dylan's going to spin with the Urza.
No one thinks they're the type to miss.
That's fair. I mean, I do. Vizier, okay. Just another body on the battlefield's probably good right now.
Yeah, anything plays.
Beatdowns.
Trying to run down with damage.
So we can go block Urza with Gilded Goose, sack of food, go to 1. Yeah? Make a food. Sack the food, okay. Still go to 1. Dylan going to sacrifice this Misty Rainforest. Hallowed Fountain untapped. Another Vizier. He's just loading up his battlefield now. Alright. Is there a way for Collin Rountree to live here? Urza, I don't think, is going to save him.
And so his best block saves 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 coming across. And he can pick up. It's going to be close. But the following turn is probably a dead end, even if he survives this one.
Oh, what if Cryptic gets involved?
Yeah, Cryptic is, it's got to be Cryptic into Urza, and then he's got to start finding multiple cards a turn to be able to get through this.
Yep. Well, if there's a card that can get him back into it, it's almost certainly Urza. So let's see what's going to happen here. Gilded Goose is going to make a food. Oh, look at Dylan. Because he's played so much Simic Urza, he knows that he can make food tokens and tap him for mana with the Urza. So look at him go. Top card. Noble Hierarch, sure, another body. See if he wants to cast it or not. Looks like he says, I'm going to go Beatdowns. Is there a way for Rountree to stay alive? Remember, Rountree does have black removal in his deck. There's block 1.
Seems unlikely you would let Donegan do anything with the Urza if you had a removal spell to play, though.
Sure. That's legit.
And it's not like you can really bluff him in combat in any effective way here, or get him to, maybe make an attack he otherwise wouldn't make because your creatures have no power.
Make a food. Sack 2 food. Maybe that's sack a food, play a thing. It's a blue and a black, so this is probably drawing the lock. Yep. Okay. And then that's make a food. Okay, so he's going to take 3. He's going to go down to 1. And he's going to lose a bunch of his stuff. So Noble Hierarch gets played post-combat thanks to the Urza ability. Draw. And dead. So Dylan Donegan's going to win game number 1. 4 Okos generally leads to a game win, and that's exactly what happened there for Dylan Donegan. Up a game over Collin Rountree as we turn our attention to the sideboards. It's 2 Fatal Push, 2 Damping Spheres, 2 Veil of Summer, 2 Mystical Dispute, 2 Disdainful Stroke, 2 Assassin's Trophy, 2 Now Spellbomb, and a Tormod's Crypt here for Collin Rountree.
Not a whole lot to like. I think the Fatal Pushes and Assassin's Trophies are fine, and the rest of the sideboard doesn't really play.
Other side of things here for Dylan Donegan: 4 Path Exile, 3 Veil of Summer, 3 Mirror Crusader, 2 Disdainful Stroke, 2 Collector Oof, and a Dismember.
Like the 2 copies of Collector Oof, and I think this could be a good matchup for Mirror Crusader as well.
Yeah, I like those Collector Oofs. Collector Oof not actually that good against the Urza strategies. I was talking to Dylan about this at Grand Prix Columbus over Thanksgiving break, and I was boarding Collector Oofs in humans against him, and I was like, this card does not seem very good. And he's like, nah, it's actually quite bad against Simic Urza. He said, everyone brings it in, it doesn't do anything. And I was like, dude, nice. The old little jukey poo, as it were. So we'll see if Dylan actually brings that in or not. But those are the sideboards there for both players. We do want to take a moment, talk about the StarCityGames.com holiday sale one more time, where some restrictions do apply, apparently, according to Patrick, because of Patrick.
Do you want 15% off all online orders.
Always.
Tough luck, because some restrictions may apply.
Yeah.
Over at StarCGames.com. Use promo code SCG15 when you check out. Most orders will be fine. This is just some due diligence on behalf of Star City Games to make sure that people like me do not overly chisel them. StarCGames.com holiday sale. Go check it out.
The man that causes all the problems. At least you can admit it.
Mm-hmm.
Everything was fine, and then you came along.
That's right.
And you made everything better somewhat, but worse as well.
I made people more aware. More aware of leaks in their game.
Gotcha. Dylan's going to take a step away as he gets ready here for game number 2 of competition. One thing, of all the players that we have been talking to out on the floor during our breaks, Matthias and Emma are in here, Dylan has been the most, well, I'd say that Dylan has been the most focused. He's been the quietest. He's had his headphones on.
In.
Yeah, like
not
the
interacting.
whole time.
Not interacting.
Yeah. He really wants to day 3 of this thing. You can really, really tell. Not to say that other players don't want to, but I think of all of the players in the room, I think he's the most focused, where it's easy to interact and have conversations and let your guard down a little bit. He is not letting that happen, not even a little bit here. A little surprising.
No, I don't know.
He's a pretty social guy.
These opportunities do not come along all that often.
Very
and
true.
I was on was doing life tolls on the iPad the first round of the tournament, and Donegan was one of the 2 players playing, and his energy level was extremely high.
Yeah.
I mean, he was bouncing, it's some heavy breathing, and he's just extremely locked in right now. He knows what the stakes are. This is,
Look, I think
really good shot.
I think he really wants this one. I do. And I think with certainly good reason, and he is one game away from doing it. Again, he played in our first Players' Championship when he was much younger. I don't want to say he's all grown up now, but he's got a different approach this year.
Right.
Than when he barely qualified and was just happy to be there the first year amongst a very difficult crowd, a tournament that Brad Nelson won. And we know just how solid Brad is at Magic nowadays. So it's been fun to watch Dylan's career progress. And for Collin Rountree, our Season 1 Invitational Champion, he's no slouch either. That was an interesting back-and-forth game there, but 4 Okos did him in. So what will happen in this game? It's going to be a lot of fun to watch unfold. We'll have to see. But Rountree will be on the play here. Remember, tomorrow we're coming back. Top 4, each match will be best of 3 matches. And what that means is that whoever wins 2 matches moves on to the finals to play best of 3 matches as well. And because this is a 3-format tournament, Standard, Modern, and Legacy, that means that, let's say, one player picks they want to play Standard, the other player gets the opportunity to play or draw, and then the loser of that match gets the option of either picking their format or picking if they want to play or draw. That means Modern or Legacy because Standard's already been played, and then if they go to a 3rd and final match, that means that final match will be the format they haven't done yet. And we've done this before in the finals of our Players' Championships. It's been very well received by our competitors, so we continue to stick with that format to see what they can do across all the formats. We want to touch on a little bit of everything that we do here on the SCG Tour. Legacy's last hurrah here on the SCG Tour. And Legacy's a pretty crazy format right now, too. Collin Rountree would really like to make it, though, to the 3rd day of competition. He said he'd love to play his Legacy deck against anybody.
He had a great performance.
He thinks he smashes those blue decks, and it's hard to argue otherwise.
I think the metagaming on that side got a little bit... People might have gone a little bit too deep for this one.
You think so?
Well, the best performing decks, not like a deep data dive, but more of an anecdote. But it looked like the best performing decks were the non-blue decks. Just the straightforward, good Legacy decks that... weren't trying to overly metagame to win blue mirrors.
Yeah.
Rountree with Death and Taxes, Matthew Dilks, Golgari Depths,
Collins Mullen.
Hogek.
Yep. And Dylan liked his Legacy deck too, for what it's worth.
Oh yeah, he thought he thought they smashed it.
Yeah.
But I have by far the best Legacy deck. He was a lot more modest about the Modern deck that he's playing right now. Thought it was a fine choice, but not a major edge on the field, but thought that Hogak was just easily the best thing to be doing.
Yeah. I mean, deck looks good. I'll tell you that much. Straightforward, not a lot of graveyard hate in the room, so it's hard not to like it. I'll tell you that. So Rountree's ready to rock and roll. Dylan's about to be, remember, our last match of the day. Then we're going to come back tomorrow, and we are going to crown ourselves a champion. Someone's getting the title belt that we got to play around with at SCG Con Winter. And I guess $20,000 isn't so bad either. I guess.
Buy a lot of belts with $20,000.
You sure can. And I sure would. I want to get an authentic WWE belt, like really bad at some point in my life. Probably will. And just wear it around at a tournament sometime.
What do one of those things run?
It really varies because, like, you can get levels of realness, kind of like basketball jerseys.
Right.
But, like, if you go, like, to the top shelf, I think it's a couple grand. I really do. And I mean,
Do you have to get that through WWE, or is there like a...
So you can get it through the shop, I'm pretty sure. I'm not that well versed in the title belts for the WWE. But I do have a tablet in front of me. I don't mind taking a little look here. So replicas, wow. Replicas $429. Jeez.
Yeah, but I don't want a replica.
No, I know you want the real thing. I know. You're a tough guy over here. Scroll down a little bit.
Well, they had one that was $2,000.
Elite Series. That's a replica. That's too. You might not be able to. I wonder if they actually sell real ones.
I mean, you gotta call
NWO
them.
belt, spray painted.
Interested in that?
That's you right there, buddy. 400. They might not sell. You probably gotta make a call to somebody else.
You gotta have a friend inside. Yeah. Well, anyhow, you can get a lot of those belts. Wouldn't it be great if you just $20,000 you just spent on 10 replica belts?
What'd you do with your winnings? Bam!
Yeah, 10.
I am the SmackDown champion.
Yeah.
And the Raw champion. And the 24/7 champion. That's the worst belt of all time. All of it. Look at they got the Hogan's belts here for you, NWO style.
Yep.
A lot of different straps there for you, buddy. You struck me as an NWO fan.
No question.
Both players going to take a look at their openers here. Game number 2 about to be underway. Get another marathon affair here at the SCG Game Center. But these players they've had a lot of fun all weekend long, hanging out, playing Magic, getting to know each other a little bit better. That's one of the things that's fun about this tournament. There's only 16 players, and then us and the staff making this thing run. So these players end up talking to each other, playing games. Cuban, you learned how to play cribbage today?
Yeah, Collins Mullen taught me how to play cribbage.
There you go.
I mean, he trashed me.
Well, you never played before, so...
But it was fun.
It would be weird if you beat him.
Yeah, it would be. But don't have to worry about it, because it didn't.
It's just a card game, right, cribbage?
Yeah, like a 52 card deck.
Okay.
Yeah. Playing cards. I don't know what you want to call them.
You keep score. Someone with the most points wins, I'm sure.
Yeah, there's a 121, I think is the threshold where someone's declared the winner.
Okay. I declare you champion. Looks like Dylan's going to send it back, too. Edgar Magayesh, Oliver Tomiko, Zan Saeed. Those are our 3 through to day number 3 of competition. Don't say day number 3 of competition all that often. But they're through.
And if they thought these 2 days were slogs, there's a lot of hurry up and wait. We got 1 match, maybe 2 going on a lot of the days, and then you're sitting here waiting for hours and trying to keep your focus and awareness up, getting ready to play these high leverage matches. But tomorrow you're in the pit for hours playing these top 4 and finals matches.
Whoever walks out of here champion, they've earned it.
Yeah, it's exhausting.
It is a long tournament, but it is a fair and fun tournament. So we'll see if Collin Rountree can find a hand that he likes. You mentioned it right at the top about how it's not so much about the quick Emerys and Urzas, it's more about the interaction and the Okos. And that came to fruition right there immediately.
Well, I mean, he had an explosive... he had turn 1 Emery and did a bunch of stuff and had an Oko and had an Urza. But, I guess the Oko would qualify as interaction. A lot of the rest of it didn't show up, though. And he eventually lost the game, He got all the synergies online, but Not clear that's what the game's going to be about that often.
The goose is loose. Polluted Delta. Into a breeding pool. Roundtree's down to 17. Once upon a time is where Dylan Donegan's going to start things off. We'll take a windswept heath. You see our head judge and organized play lead there. Jared Silver right behind Dylan. Making sure this game is played above the board. As there's a Temple Guard and not a Noble Hierarch. 18-17 in favor of Donegan as we head back over to Collin Rountree, your Season 1 Invitational Champion here in the 2019 SCG Tour. He'll sacrifice Polluted Delta, going to fall down to at least 16. Watery Grave, the weapon of choice. Is it time for an Oko, perhaps? Yes, it is. Thief of Crowns has arrived. Going to turn the Noble Hierarch into an Elk to slow down Donegan's mana acceleration. There's a Windswept Heath. There's a beatdown. Oko's going to fall down to 2. Not even close to killing it yet. A lot of work to be done there, Dylan. He knows that. And Dylan's just going to pass the turn back. We go back over to Collin Rountree. Maybe Dylan's running some copies of Disdainful Stroke to counter Urza. Who knows?
Cryptic Command, too. I mean, there are some targets, but I don't know if the 4-mana spells should be the top priority for Donegan to care about here.
Well, if anybody would know, it would be Dylan, given his experience playing Simic Urza. He's played quite a bit of it, as have his teammates. Pardon me. So they know the deck well. They know how good it is. And they broke open SCG Atlanta back end of October, with so many of them making the top 8. Donegan not sure what land he wants to get here. He's going to go with a basic forest. Or will he? He will not. Going to consult the hand a little bit. Before going with a basic plains. And now Eldamri's Call. Okay.
Interested to see, is there any possibility? Okay, going to go with Clutter if it looks like I was wondering. Any possibility that he goes with a Noble Hierarch here? Make sure mana acceleration actually threaten lethal on the Oko this turn.
So he went and got the Oof. That means he brought in the Oof, a card I wasn't sure he'd bring in because he feels as though it's really bad against Simic Urza. Now this is a little bit different, but let's see what this is going to be. You make a food and Fatal Push a Noble Hierarch. Okay, so my Oko's good. Making of the food there from the Gilded Goose. That was the third artifact there for Mox. Well, there's the Oof. Makes you wonder how much you care about this if you're Collin Rountree.
Well, if you do, you can make it into an Elk.
That sure is true. The way to solve that problem is right on the battlefield. I think that's part of the reason Collector Oof is not particularly good against this deck. Looks like he's going to make one of his food into an Elk. Now he's going to crack Misty Rainforest. Three mana. Huh. Neat. Another Oko. Oh yeah. Let's talk. Let's talk about beatdowns.
No more fumbling around.
No. Looking to get this game over, and has the ability for the old swapsies here in just a bit, if you like. With Mox Opal turned off, perfect swap target. I give you this. I take your collector oof or something else. But yes, no more fumbling around indeed. Horizon Canopy the land. I think some players don't realize just how aggressive this Urza deck can be sometimes.
Yeah, you can definitely turn it on. I mean, it's not the primary game plan here, but I think Rountree's hand's pretty heavy on removal, and so you can try to do it the other way. Just damage raise with the removal spells.
Deputy Detention. A one-of for Donegan. Coming up at the right time. Takes out those elks, plural. There's a Birds of Paradise. Pass the turn back. We go back over to Collin Rountree. His plan of getting aggressive just got thwarted. Here is an Arkham's Astrolabe. That'll draw Collin Rountree a card, but it is shut off right now because of the Collector Roof. Also, no swapsies available. So where do we go? We say, you know what, Mox? You're not doing anything anyway. Beatdowns!
I mean, the Oko is out of range of being killed on the way back.
Drown in the lock. Going to kill the Collector Roof. And we are going to pass that turn back.
Pretty unorthodox game here from Rountree, but really impressive that he's able to kind of see the shape of his hand, what it lends itself to, and is able to take a line I don't think is that common for this deck. But Donegan's kind of fumbling around here a little bit, not doing anything proactive, and why not get it over with as fast as you can?
Well, if you want to try to get the game over quickly, that's what he's definitely trying to do. It makes some sense to me. Well, this might slow things down a bit, though. Here is Oko. Going to turn Deputy Detention into an elk. And now the Oko is going to fall down to 1. And we're going to head back over to Rountree. So again, how aggressive does he want to get? His artifact's no longer shut off. Collector Roof's not on the battlefield anymore, so that's a dimension.
I mean, you can just dial up one more elk here and at least force a chump block on the bird and represent maybe 2 or 3 even lethal attackers next turn.
Yeah, you want to go to Donegan and not the Oko?
Yeah, I mean, any attack that's enough to threaten Oko actually kills Donegan.
That's true.
So
that's true.
I think that's the line where I would say send it at him.
Okay. Game's getting close. Elk beatdowns. Birds of Paradise is going to block. Donegan's going to float some mana and sacrifice that Horizon Canopy while still in combat. And now, Drown in the Lock. Excuse me, that's an Assassin's Trophy. Pardon me. That'll take care of Oko.
So Rountree's looking at 2 lethal attackers next turn, assuming that the elk is Donegan's elk is able to finish off the Oko.
Mm-hmm.
It's not easy for him to put in 2 blockers, and most blockers he has are also going to be chump blockers at this stage too. It's not like he's all that long on 3/3s and 4/4s and such.
Gilded Goose goes straight to blocking. There's Devoted Druid. Razor Verge Stick. It's going to end in a battlefield attach. We go back over to Collin Rountree. Beatdown's going to try to win it. He will win it. We're all tied up. Rountree, Donegan, third one. Last one.
Not the most common way of doing it, but removal backed up by pressure. It's not the common way for his deck to get it done there, but sideboarded a lot of removal, drew a lot of removal. Donegan couldn't get to the Oko, and I think, a lot of players in that spot kind of have the instinct of just, I'm going to plus, I'm going to set up shop here, I'm going to put myself in a position to swap profitably, maybe somewhere down the line. And Rountree said, ignore all that. I'm going to try to run you down as fast as possible. remove your key cards and was able to win that game pretty easily.
Yeah, he decided to go beatdowns. I mean, that's part of the appeal of this Urza deck is it's so versatile. It has Embry draws. It has Oko draws. It has Urza draws. It's got removal. It has all these different things it can do, and sometimes it can just go, you know what, how about beatdowns?
Right.
How about I kill you that way? That'll take care of things. The ability to recur engineer explosives is obviously very, very powerful. You've got a lot of sideboard options depending on how you decide to build your deck. I still continue to think that some strategy based around Urza like this is the best thing going on in the format, but there are ways to exploit it and beat it, and that's what Dylan Donegan and his team are trying to do.
Yeah, and Rountree's, got some answers to that sort of exploitation with just being able to interact on the battlefield pretty well. But, this is, I think, still a matchup on the balance that Donegan's happy to play, and he will have the benefit of being on the play for game number 3.
Game number 3 is going to be coming here in just a bit, too. So I love watching these players play in these high-pressure situations where they just want it. They just want to make it to day 3. Dylan especially here this weekend. Quietest of the 16 players in the room. And again, he is a very jovial, charitable personality. Likes to chat, likes to hang with his friends, do well at Magic. He's had another good year playing the game, qualified for a Players' Championship once again. And him and his team have been the best performing team on the SCG Tour. Team Lotus Box is really... They made a stamp not just on the tour, but in Magic.
Yes.
Okay.
I think they were well ahead of the curve. Many opens this year.
Yes. Yes.
And it's a variety. You have some teams that are really good at just coming up with new decks out of whole cloth and sort of evolving metagames that way. And you have some teams that are pretty good at the iteration kind of in the middle of the season. New set hasn't come out for a while. This is where the metagame's at. And here's something new, or here's a new take on something old. And Lotus Box this year did both. They were first to market with a variety of strategies and also just had the metagame pegged the right way and played something old and stock to great success some weekends as well.
Yeah. And they were always willing to change to something. I think that was the other thing that was really notable about them is they were not afraid to pivot to, if they thought Burn was the best deck to play in a tournament like they did in Dallas, they played Burn.
And did very well for themselves.
Yeah, they crushed that tournament. If they think that Simic Urza is the best thing to be doing, if they think Simic Wurza was the best thing to be doing, at the Invitational, they cut their Wurzas and played cards to try to get an edge on the mirror. Stuff like that. They have a testing house in North Carolina with Zan and Bertarioni, and Dylan is really, really close by, about 10 minutes away. And some players on their team that you find folks at home probably haven't heard of yet, but might next year as they show up at more events and put up more results where they're working hard. And I know you've been in a Magic testing house before, and I've played with a ton of groups and players over the years.
Have I ever? It
can be an up and down experience. It can be stressful. It can be a lot of fun.
A lot of dark times.
Yeah, but you're all trying to accomplish the same goal. Well, in most instances, maybe not yours.
Our testing house was a little bit different vibes.
Okay. Not trying to uncover any old skeletons here.
A lot of schadenfreude. A lot of resentment. It's a different vibe.
I don't know if that's a good thing.
I'm not here to pass judgment. Yeah. I'm just here to describe how it was.
Fair enough. It was what it was. As we are underway here in game number 3, going to kick things off with the Once Upon a Time. Once again, winner of this game coming back tomorrow morning. First place, $20,000 here this weekend. One of these two players could win it, but they got to win this game first.
There was a second Magic House I wasn't part of, but it involved a lot of people kind of on my social circle. And they said, what if we actually did it? What if we sat down and just played Magic all day long and crushed these tournaments?
Yeah.
What if we actually committed ourselves to it?
Yeah.
And enough people said, you know what, that's a great idea. Let's do it.
Okay.
Let's huddle up. Let's wake up every day and just bang away at this and crush these tournaments.
Okay.
And within about 2 weeks, it became a World of Warcraft house. Just some of Magic's best minds, just full-time raiders.
But have you guys heard of this game?
Yeah.
You can build your own character.
Right.
It's really, really cool. I've never played that game before. Not a single second.
Okay.
Because I knew if I did, that was a game.
It was the last game that I played, I would say, casually.
Okay.
Played Iron Man mode.
I don't know what that is.
PvP server, so players can attack you.
Okay.
And when my character died once, that was it.
You lose everything?
Make a new character.
Dude. That doesn't sound fun at all.
It's fun for me.
Here's a thought, C's.
Iron Man mode.
Okay, man.
And someone eventually just kills you. It's
I get it.
It's like real life.
No, nope. No, it is not. Razorbird's Thicket, Eladamri's Call, Vizier of Remedies.
It's a very violent world. It's not,
I'm picking up.
Saying if the world was that violent, that's how it would end.
Mm-hmm, I understand.
I'm just walking around trying to collect 15 apples for the innkeeper. Someone kills me.
Yeah.
All right, start over.
Sure. Thoughtseize is going to take Eladamri's Call. There's a mirror. Oh, boy. Well, you better have an answer to that, or this game's going to end real fast in combination with Exalted. Eladamri's Call.
And it's not like Rountree interacts with this card all that well.
No, he doesn't. Draw off the bauble, draw for the turn. Mirran Crusader is the creature that came on the battlefield. Eladamri's Call was the card that was lost at Thoughtseize. So, the Astrolabe is where Rountree's going to start. Now another Astrolabe. Through the previous Astrolabe, draw a couple of cards, pass a turn back. Crusader's coming in for at least 6, folks.
Yeah, this one could be over very, very soon.
Mm-hmm.
Can't use removal spells on it. Can't use Oko on it. You're looking at Engineered Explosives. Unlikely you have that kind of time.
It's a lot of setup there. Breeding Pool untapped. Urza and the Construct can block it. Let's see what we got here. Ranger. Gonna go searching. Yeah, you could just go find another Hierarch. Right, he's actually going to go Walking Bliss to give himself a little bit of reach. Okay. Play. Well, there. Oh, boy.
Well, it's also cover against Emery or Urza as a chump blocker, too.
So that's
the Ballista.
So that's an attack there for 7, or for 8.
Yep.
So Rountree should, I believe, be down to 7. But
well, regardless, it's the next turn Mirror and Crusader plus the Ballista finishes
it's just game
off.
over.
Yeah.
That is it. Dylan Donegan's going to win this game and match here over Collin Rountree. 2-1 quickly via Mirror and Crusader.